Hello, and this is my video review for Transformers War for Cybertron Kingdom Deluxe Class Warpath. So here he is, and I mean, he look in his tank mode, and he looks very much like his G1 self. I don't actually have his G1 self, but this is a good representation of his tank mode. I mean, underneath there's not too much robot mode kibble and stuff. It looks fairly decent. You've got 4 wheels. They are only clipped on, they're not pinned on, and he rolls well enough. You know, he rolls well enough. He did come with a little like card that had Black Arachnia on it. And I was going to show it, but I can't remember what I've done with it. I've misplaced it. But these Kingdom figures do seem to be coming, well, aside from the core class ones, seem to be coming with like a little trading card, which has no reference to the character you're getting whatsoever, which is, in my opinion, completely pointless. They might as well have not bothered. But anyway, yeah, so as far as articulation goes in this mode, his turret can go all the way around. The barrel comes up here, down that far. So you've got a decent range of motion there. As you saw, he can roll a little bit. And that's really about it for his articulation. I mean, detail-wise and paint, it looks very good. The detail for the wheels and the tread here is fine. You do have some other details, sculpted in details on here as well. Which is very, very nice. And as I say, you've got an Autobot symbol there as well. And as I say, decent representation of his tank mode from G1. So let's compare him in this mode with some other figures. See what I've got in vehicle mode here. So here is the Netflix Megatron, but it's essentially the Siege Megatron. So you can see this is actually better paint than the Siege Megatron, but exactly the same mold. So if you've got that figure, that kind of gives you an idea of the tank size there. So he's not a big tank, but he's not really tiny. Like, there he is in my hand. I was kind of concerned that when they did Warpath, because he's originally a mini-bot, that his tank mode was going to be really small. But I think it approximates just about right for the character and you know, and such. I think it works. So there he is with Megatron. Have we got anybody else? I don't know whether I've got anybody else to the side here that's in vehicle mode. Let's have a look. Here he is with one of the MicroMaster jets. So you can see how that looks. And finally, I know this piece isn't on here before the comments. Someone comments it. I know this piece isn't on here. I deliberately took it off and put it in a little bag so that it didn't spring off and lose it forever. But here he is with Netflix Deluxe Elite 1. So you can see he's a decent size. He's not as small as I thought he was going to be. So that's good. Okay, so for transformation on this guy, it's actually, I'm not 100% convinced by the transformation. I don't necessarily enjoy it, but I don't dislike it. So it's worse going from robot to tank. But he is a parts former, and unfortunately they could have made this not essential at all. But unfortunately, they made the parts forming piece, which is this piece that just pops off from underneath. They could have just left it so that that wasn't necessary, you know, a necessary part. But if you leave that off, it causes the front here to just kind of come apart, and there's no real way that that holds together without that piece in place, which is a real shame. It's really disappointing. That it's probably the one thing I would change about the figure, but oh well. So you remove this piece from underneath, you come back here, open this piece, fold the head out, collapse that piece back up, and there are some, just to show you, there's a couple of little tabs that go into those two slots in there. Collapse the tank barrel in, just like the G1, I think. Then this front of the tank will kind of shimmy apart like this, and then you just unhook these tabs from behind here. So the other one's already come undone, but you do the same here. Just kind of get that out of the way. Then take these pieces, and there's a tab here, a hole here. If they don't just easily come out, just untab it from there. That's where it's held in, and bring those out. Same on this side. While we're here, we might as well take this, and there's like a tab here. You just want to unhook it, and it kind of, the tread here rests in between this tab and this, I don't know if you can see it, this red tab at the back. It kind of rests in between those. Just kind of unhook it from those, or does it? Yeah, it kind of, this one kind of pegs into the white piece. Just unhook it and fold that down like that. Trying to show you from the back so you can see a little bit better how that works. Unhook it and then fold it down like that. So that's that done, and that's his arms pretty much done there. Now the legs are the most complicated part about this figure, so you want to get these and just release this tab, and then kind of bring these panels out like this. And then it's really difficult. I don't know what it is about this, but I find it really difficult to remember how these legs work. I've done this transformation a few times, and I'm still like confused by these legs. But anyway, you kind of want to, from what I remember, yeah, you kind of want to bring the legs out, bend them here a little bit, and then kind of get this piece out and down. Try and do that from this angle so you can see a little bit different. This piece out, and then bring it out and down like that. Okay, so we've done that. Then those little panels that we folded out first, you can go ahead and fold those all the way as far as they'll go, which is about here. Don't force them because you'll snap that tab off, but you can bring those down a little bit further now. Okay, so now we've done that, you want to take this whole section and swing it back like so. And what's happening there is that this tab is going into this slot. Just swing it back. Same on the other side. I'll do it from this angle so you can see how that looks like that. You can see on that hinge. Then the next thing we want to do is we want to take this piece, and that on its own hinge will rotate back. And then once you've rotated that out enough, you can go ahead and fold that panel all the way down. I'm making this sound more complicated than it is. I mean, it's not the easiest transformation, but it's certainly not the most complicated. It looks a lot worse than it is, I think. And then go ahead and fold those all the way into the leg like that. Rotate the leg here at the thigh, bring that down. Then you want to go ahead and take this piece, and there is a little hole, I don't know if you can see it, that will kind of go on that tab there. Just kind of, you kind of have to pull it out a little bit to get it to line up. But I don't know if you can see, and that will line up with that like that. Same on this side. Try and wiggle that around there, and that will go over that tab. And that is the legs done. As I say, it is a little bit worse going back to tank mode, but I don't know. I mean, the effect you get when they're done looks good enough, but ooh, I wish there was an easier way to do the legs. But anyway, next thing you want to do is you want to take this piece and kind of just fold it up a little bit so that you can get in and push that panel that we just pushed in, and then that piece will push down and in like that, and then this whole section will rotate up onto there like that, and then that gives him his shoulders and his arms are in the right place. And there you have Warpath in robot mode. As I say, I'm not necessarily convinced by that transformation. I'm not 100% sold on that transformation, but I mean, it's not bad, it's not horrible. So you've done that, and that is very difficult as well, that piece to because you have to go back to the tank mode, you have to bring this piece down first, otherwise it doesn't work, and then you've got to somehow get this piece out and then that panel to go into here, and it's a nightmare, an absolute nightmare. That's the worst part of the transformation, going back into the tank mode, but that's how it's done going to robot mode. Anyway, here he is in bot mode. So that parts forming piece that we took off, that unfortunately they made necessary, you can go ahead and put this on his arm as like armor. I think that's how they show it on the box. Or I think you can even put it on his back if you want. Although I think it looks worse on his back, but you know, however you want to do it. Don't think you can put it on the other way up, no. So we'll just leave that off to the side for the moment so I can show off the articulation. So his head is on a ball peg, I think. I do think, and it gets you a bit of wiggle, and you can go all the way around. The arms all the way around, out to there, down to there. There is a swivel at the elbow and also a 90-degree bend at the elbow. The joints are fairly tight, which is good. They're not too tight, but they're tight enough. Same on this side, you know, all the same stuff. He does have a wrist swivel, which is good. You can see that's on a mushroom peg there. Does he have a waist swivel? I felt like he did. Yes, he does have a waist swivel, but you can't get much out of it because of this piece here. But you can get about that much waist swivel that way, and about that much that way. So not much, but there is a bit of a waist swivel. The legs go there and there. They go all the way out like that. There's a thigh swivel on a mushroom peg, just under 90-degree bend at the knee, and then the feet cannot pivot, but there is a little bit of an ankle rocker if you need it. The one thing about the ankle rocker is it does bang up against this wheel, so you know, you'll hear it you can get quite a excessive, ridiculous looking ankle rocker, but the problem is when you try and push it back, it gets stuck up against this wheel, and you'll hear it doesn't sound very good when you try and fold it back up. So just be mindful of that. And that, you know, that the other side is the same. So you can get out to about there without taking it too far and then having that issue of it making that horrible noise. But yeah, that's about it. You can extend his tank barrel if you want. There's nothing stopping you doing that, and you can still angle it up if you want. He doesn't come with a handgun or anything like that. But yeah, I mean, he's cool. His face sculpt is spot on, I think, for the character. Very nice. Arms look fine. There is a bit of kibble underneath, but it's excusable. Yeah, pretty good. So what I'll do now is I'll just get his parts forming piece on there. I don't know how I feel about his parts forming piece. I think it's worse in a way. I'm kind of a bit 50-50 with parts forming, but it's worse for him because essentially they could have made this not necessary, but they did regardless, and that's really annoying. That's the annoying part about this one. It's not like Earthrise Cliff Jumper where the whole back of the car was missing, whereas this guy, this wasn't necessarily 100% necessary, but they made it necessary in order to hold the whole front of the thing together, so in tank mode, so I don't know. But anyway, there he is. Let's compare him with some of the bots. So we'll get his legs a bit straighter, make him a little bit taller. So here he is with Earthrise Sunstreaker. You can see he's not quite as tall as a regular Deluxe. He's a little bit off, but he's not bad. He's still worthy of a Deluxe size. He's still bigger than Cliff Jumper. Here he is with the Spoiler Pack 2 mold, the Nemesis Prime, which is the Siege Optimus Prime mold. So you can see, if I bring the camera up a little bit, you can see how that kind of scales there. And finally, here he is with a Micromaster. Although they do seem to have stopped doing the Micromasters, which is a shame, but there you go. So, overall, do I recommend the figure? Yes, I do. There are one or two little hiccups, but I think overall, you know, I think he's worth it. He's a nice update to the G1. I feel like there's not been a Warpath in quite a while. He's decent enough. The sculpt is decent. The articulation is decent. I just wish the transformation was maybe a little bit more fluid and a little bit more easy to do. But then again, having said that, the both modes look fine. It's just the process is a little bit frustrating at times. But as I say, the articulation is good. The overall appearance is great. The paint's fine. So yeah, I do recommend him. If you're looking for a new updated G1 Warpath, this is definitely one that you're going to have to pick up because I think you'll be pleased with it. So I hope you've enjoyed this video. Thank you very much for watching. Sorry it's been a bit of a long video, but I wanted to explain all about this guy. So, but yeah, I hope you've enjoyed it. Thank you very much for watching. If you have stuck all the way to the end, think about subscribing and like the video if you liked it. Thumbs down if you didn't, and I'll see you in the next video. Bye for now.